Yeah, Aarti, I would like to ask you this. We spoke about a person who likes to bully. What about the child or an individual who takes the bullying? Why do they take the bullying?
Again, in any equation, ma'am, when a bully chooses a person to victimize, and this is essentially a victimizing experience, they'll choose somebody who doesn't know how to speak up for themselves. Inherently, somebody who does not know how to stand up for themselves, or somebody who has a disability or a difference. When they go to the teacher and represent, also, the teacher will say, "But you're not studying well, don't come and complain unnecessarily." When the teacher may not be so responsive to the child, this can happen. Sometimes the bully also chooses children whose parents never come to school, those kind of things. So basically, even any form of abusive relationship, bullying is essentially a form of abuse. Abuse meaning misuse of power. In any of those, the victim is always chosen by the person very, very carefully, knowing that they will not stand up. This is very carefully done because, for example, a bully will never choose me. I'll give it back. I'm not somebody who will say, okay, I'll sit down and take this abuse and I'll be compassionate. But the victim who's been chosen may say, okay, if I go and complain to my parents, for example, Amma, this happened in school, what did you do? So the child says, even if I go and represent it to my mother, nothing's going to happen in this. So these kind of things happen. And the bully usually picks up that, and these are all very evident even in body language, the way the child speaks up. For example, the child gets the mark sheet or the answer sheet, sees that, there's half mark less or something, may not even go and tell the teacher. Bully is observing all this. Oh, this one will never go to the teacher. This one will never speak up. This one is always isolated, doesn't have friends. So the victim is very carefully chosen. So when you ask me who is the kind of person who will accept bullying, it's a child who has not been given an opportunity to exercise their voice, to understand assertive communication, and to stand up for themselves. So in that sense, as a parent, as a teacher, it's important for us to understand that every child has to be given opportunities to model assertiveness, to understand that they belong. That sense of belonging in the classroom, sense of belonging in the family, sense of belonging in the peer group is such an important thing. And in spite of all this, bullying can happen. And you know that this happens across the world because unfortunately, we have bullies who are glorified sometimes as politicians, sometimes as movie actors, sometimes as cricket stars or whatever.
Leaders.
I won't call them leaders, ma'am, because they're not.
Okay,
In fact, because they're not the models for leaders. But we've always glorified. So might is right is always glorified. And I feel as we move into the 21st century and, all of these things with artificial intelligence coming in, I think if we don't understand equality in relationships, we are going to be at a very big disadvantage. And in that sense, in the parenting angle, in the teaching angle, I would suggest, please let's start looking at our children as equals. Because if we don't model equality, these kind of ups and downs in relationships are going to keep destroying people. We're going to treat them as mental health conditions when actually it's an opportunity, it's a lack of opportunity to model healthy behaviors. So I think that's what we need to do, ma'am.
Thank you, Aarti. Very important to take away. Parents need to reach out to the children, give them some emotional security, that they are in safe hands.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that will take them. Thank you.